Hello everybody. Welcome back to the Initiative Order. Happy Sunday, and welcome back to Season 2 of Symbaroum, our continuation of the Throne of Thorns, this book being entitled The Witch Hammer. Before we dive back into our game though, let's just go ahead and reintroduce our wonderful cast for today. Let's start off with Kelsey, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey, and I am playing Kinlegelana, the Changeling Witch today.
Perfect, thank you so much. Let's go over to Leroy.
Hey everybody, I am Leroy. I will be playing Nrobso, the Goblin Axe Artist.
Perfect, and Christine?
I'm Christine, and I'll be playing Laerke, the Barbarian Retired Wrathguard.
Retired, sure. Go with that. And yet you're still working 24/7. As for myself, I am Nate, and I will be your game master for this journey. We are missing two of our other players today, Cora, who plays Aggie, as well as Keith, who is our other resident witch. We wish them both well. They're both busy with life things and all that, but we love them, and we cannot wait to have them back with us in the very near future. But with that, let's go ahead and dive back into the world of Symbaroum. And welcome back, everybody. Before we dive back into our game, just a quick little recap of the events that transpired last time. Our group, you had all returned back to Thistlehold after your long fight down below in the tunnels. From there, you went out to the forest to essentially revive the warden god Eox. Upon his revival, he had kind of disappeared and gone back to his duties guarding the lands, while the rest of you were brought back into Thistlehold. To begin, just kind of tying up any loose ends that you all wish to see closed off. Upon arrival here, you had seen that there were some significant losses, unfortunately, in that of Henlone, the eldest of the McKell brothers, as well as Ogrim, one of Agithe's companions from her past. Aggie was informed that Ogrim would be taken to be given a proper burial. She had also informed Leohan and Venhall of the passing of their brother. And it was during this message call that Leohan had revealed some more information to Aggie about some new ongoings that were happening, and that it would seem that the Queen of Ambria has begun sending soldiers and treasure hunters and more Ambrians into Davokar, with Leohan and Venhall both specifically being requested. The two of them, you would also know, are currently in possession of a tablet with a written prophecy on it that you know the Queen was after. And from the sounds of it, from what Leon had spoken of, it seems that the Queen is getting more and more wanting to more so make haste to see this prophecy fulfilled. And it was from here that Agithe kind of shared this information with all of you. It was also during this time within Thistlehold that you were continuing your search for past companions, Nrobso specifically looking for Krenko and the boys, as well as your missing warhorse Red Herring. And I believe it was Keen, you had gone to visit Kargoi, correct? If I remember correctly. To discuss attempting to revive his daughter in some way. His daughter living as an undead, essentially being chained up down in his basement, who you had encountered before. However, with now meeting Lainey, another undead who is very much more cognizant and aware of what she is, you have hopes of trying to give Kargoi's daughter a chance at life once more, and trying to give her a bit more mental fortitude so that she can maybe start working her way back into being closer to who she was before passing. And after kind of finishing up all of your various errands and ran around town, you did find Krenko, or I should say Krenko found you all. While Nrobso was out and about, Krenko had come up to the group, as some of you had decided to stay behind, whether it was with Mayor Nightpitch, kind of touching base with him, and then reconvening back at your wagon. Krenko informed you that, yeah, the goblins, most of them should be alive. He's not very good at counting. There might be 4 or 5, or maybe just 2 or 3. Who really knows? Krenko doesn't. But, end of the day, Krenko and at least a couple of them did survive the entire ordeal. And as you were all kind of reconvening back at Wagon, Keen, you had kind of stepped aside to use your message stone to get in touch with Gadramon, the witch who had first come through, to kind of discuss next steps and perhaps get help with Kargoi's situation as well. And as you'd kind of walked off into one of these alleyways, kind of hidden away from the hustle and bustle of the streets of Thistlehold, something fell from the sky and just kind of thudded right in front of you. And as it fell, it was almost like slow motion, and that you saw bits of kind of flesh and blood just kind of tearing away and just kind of splattering on the ground in front of you. And as you look, you can see now that it's just kind of this slightly decayed humanoid skin that almost looks like just a massive flayed piece of meat laying in front of you. And upon closer inspection, you notice that it is indeed the skin of Balmello, the witch hunter who has been kind of hounding your group since you first came here to Thistlehold. And Keen, as you look up to see just where the hell this flesh fell from, standing at the top of the building, you're standing currently between like 2 3-story buildings that are basically like just basic residences. You look up and you see just this form that's very similar to the creatures that had crawled out of the sinkhole. And that what's standing up at the top is kind of just this humanoid form, but that's made of just these twisting shadows and like gnarled vines of muscle just kind of wrapping around. But as you look up at it, you can see that his face is almost a bit more defined. And as you're staring at it, it looks almost elvish to you, as you can kind of see his the sculpted shadow jawline that goes up into these very pronounced pointed ears, as these 2 glowing amber eyes just stare down at you, Keen. And you just see this grin kind of slowly stretch across his face. Is there anything you would like to do at this time?
I'm definitely going to prepare Storm Arrow in anticipation and start backing away from that point. And I'm just going to shout up, "Can I help you?"
Okay. Nrobso and Laerke, give me vigilance checks if you'd be so kind.
Ooh, that's a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
That is a 5 for 12.
5 for 12. Excellent. Okay. The two of you do hear the voice of Keen kind of carrying your direction of just, can I help you? You also would recognize the sound of her arcane energy, of her storm arrows kind of being formed. It's a very familiar spark and crackling of energy that you've heard many times before. And as you kind of look around, you can kind of see the faint arcane glow just kind of illuminating from between these two buildings from the alleyway that Keen is currently standing in.
Yeah,
Okay,
I grab
I
my
would
axe.
start. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm running over.
Okay. Axe is out. You and Laerke begin just hustling your way over. And this creature is just staring down at you, Keen, and just smiling. Doesn't move, doesn't flinch. It just stares. And Nrobso and Laerke, as the two of you make your way over, you can very much see Keen has her eyes gazing upward.
Leggies. Is this the murder? Is this okay for murder?
Lilies, possibly Nrobso, but be careful because I don't really know what that thing is anymore. It's Odaka, though.
Is this the day that Nrobso dies? I
won't allow that.
You want me to do it? You want to go? No go. Are we waiting? Does it talk? Has it talked?
It has not spoken. Is there anything that you can be helped with, Odaka?
And as you say the name Odaka, you see his grin just kind of slowly shift away. And he just kind of turns his back to you. And just begins walking away across the rooftop.
Nrobso, I wasn't prepared for that.
You want me to follow? I can follow. This is the
I
time
think we
to
should
follow.
all follow.
I go. And I start climbing up to get to the roof to follow.
Okay. So as you are climbing the roof, go ahead and give me a quick check here.
13 for 18.
13 for 18, okay. Easy enough, you begin kind of grabbing onto the jutting out pieces of wood that you're able to and begin pulling yourself up to the top of this building. As Nrobso's climbing up, Laerke and Keen, any actions from the two of you?
I would like to go up as well. I'm not sure that I'm going to be as strong as them. Is there any way that I can, like, tie a rope around myself and have one of my storm arrows help me get up?
Interesting.
I don't think I'm going to be able to climb as easily as
Like a
them.
grappling hook kind of situation?
Ooh.
Like,
I like where you're going with this. Give me a resolute check here to start for your storm arrow.
Yes, my score on that is much higher. I got a 14 out of 15, so it's really, really good. It was resolute and
Okay.
not quick.
Okay, I'll say that you are able to tie one of your ropes around as you point and you shoot your arrow upwards. And Nrobso, as you're climbing, you just see this little arcane arrow go flying above you and stick right up on the rooftop with the rope dangling down. Keen to give yourself a bit more help as you're climbing up the side of the building here. Laerke, do you follow, or is there anything you would be doing?
I am following, but I will stick to the ground path.
Okay. Okay.
So keeping them in my sights, but moving through the alleys.
Okay, perfect.
I'm doing the
Nrobso,
thing that I did very early on, where each time I'm like, as I go, I'm also chopping away some pieces of the roof to like mark where I'm going.
Okay. Excellent, marking yourself a path. So Nrobso, you're the first one to get to the top, kind of bearing your axes in, and you pull yourself up and over. And you can see that this creature still has his back towards you. And he's just slowly walking over to the edge of the building and looking like he's going to jump and leap onto the next rooftop.
Oh, I'm prepping. I'm prepping to jump and follow.
Okay. He continues to move on. Nrobso, you carve your symbols down into the rooftop itself. You begin pursuing. Keen, as you make your way to the top, you see Nrobso basically over on the edge, leaping off onto the next building. Laerke.
Oh God.
Laerke, you are easily enough able to see the same thing as you begin pursuing down through the alleyways, cutting back and forth. Laerke, give me a vigilance check if you would be so kind.
I'm not even gonna look at my number. I definitely didn't pass that. I think my vigilance is like a 10, and that was like an 18.
Oof. Okay. Okay. No worries. You do have line of sight on them as you are just running through and just trying to keep up and pushing through. Some of the Ambrians, as you're kind of shoving through, are kind of like looking at you like, well, that was fucking rude, but whatever. They continue just walking on. They don't really feel like fucking with a giant bird person running through the street at this time. But Nrobso, they leap across a couple buildings. First jumping, kind of heading to the north, and then immediately it looks like he's getting ready to cut over to the east of Thistlehold. Keen, you make your way over to the ledge. You can see Nrobso chasing this guy. They're just leaping rooftop to rooftop. Are you going to attempt to leap as well, Keen?
Well, I feel like I know Nrobso might be in trouble if he's in the situation alone, so I will make the attempt.
Okay.
The attempt.
Okay. As you're leaping, Nrobso and Keen, I will need quick checks from both of you, please.
2 for 18. Oh no.
No, it's fine. It's good. The score is good. It was 16 out of 9.
Oh no. Nrobso, you leap and you clear this with no issues at all, kind of just tumbling and rolling down onto the next one. You can hear Keen running up behind you, and you do see her leap. However, right as she's about to touch down on the building, her foot slips, and she begins to fall, and you're currently 3 stories up in the air. Laerke, you also see this.
Yeah, can I make a beeline? We're gonna go for the hero catch. Yeah.
Okay, Laerke, give me a quick check if you would be so kind.
What am I rolling?
Just a quick check to see if you get there in time for Keen.
Quick, alright, here we go. Oh fuck. That's a 9 out of 13.
Okay. Laerke, you see this almost in slow motion as Keen just barely misses the ledge and begins to fall. Unfortunately, as you're beelining, an Ambrian comes pulling a cart right in front of your pathway, kind of just knocking you off your trajectory momentarily.
Wait, 9 out of 13, isn't that good?
Yeah.
Oh, 9 out of 13. Sorry, I heard 13 out of 9. Never mind. You are good. Yeah, you are good. My brain mixes. I apologize.
Oh, you're like, wait, no.
Yeah, you are easy enough able to charge your way through the crowd, and just as Keen is about to slam down...
Can that cart get exploded?
Sure, Laerke, you just barrel through, and you just see a bunch of cabbages go flying everywhere.
Oh, the cabbage.
You're shoving through.
My cabbage.
And you are indeed able to get up underneath Keen just as she's about to slam tailbone first into the ground and just kind of catch her right in your arms.
Oh, well, this is convenient. Thank
Should
you.
Should I just like not even say anything and just like throw her back up onto the roof?
On the shoulders, just
You can certainly try.
Oh no.
No, I'm okay. I'm just gonna set her down gently and then keep running.
Okay, continuing your pursuit. Keen and Laerke, give me vigilance checks again if you would be so kind.
That is 12 out of 7. 12 out of 7.
Oof. Okay.
I got a 2 out of 10.
Okay. Excellent. Keen, you're kind of still just a little dazed from that brief adrenaline rush you just had. As Laerke kind of sets you down and she just takes off running, you're just kind of standing there like trying to collect yourself for a moment. Laerke, you see Nrobso is still up on the rooftops in pursuit of this individual. However, you do also see on the ground, kind of moving through the crowds of Ambrians, individuals who are dressed as black cloaks walking through. However, their armor is very much more tattered and beaten and well worn. Their cloaks, not as pristine as you would expect. A lot of them are just torn and frayed at the edges, as they are kind of just walking through the crowds along the streets. And you can tell it looks like they are also following Nrobso and this individual.
Okay. I'm gonna keep tailing them. I'm gonna keep tailing Nrobso and the other guy from the alleys until we get to a point where, if at any point we get to open street.
Okay.
And then I'll stop following. But for now, I'm just gonna keep following Nrobso. But I am going to if Keen can still see me, I am going to do I don't know. Do you know SWAT signals?
Should I roll to know that? Should I roll for my knowledge to see if I understand what Laerke is
You've
doing?
been traveling together long enough that you would understand Laerke's being Laerke, but you get it. And as you're kind of standing there watching Laerke just kind of give off her various symbols.
Can I breach?
Keen, you suddenly feel this icy cold piece of steel just pull right up against your throat. And you just hear a voice from behind you. It just says, "Don't try."
Do I recognize the voice?
This voice you do not.
I see. So, wait, my storm arrows, I still have 3 of them, right?
They are still active, correct?
So, do I think that they're in view of this person?
Your storm arrows or...
My storm arrows.
Yeah, they would have been following you the entire time, yeah.
And to who do I have the pleasure of speaking?
You'll learn soon enough how we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And you see, kind of coming in from the alleyway in front of you, 2 more of these figures appear. They are dressed in the same type of black cloak armor, but just, again, very much dirtied and tattered.
What are you going to do with my friends?
Well, it depends on what Odaka sees fit. Though, because Little Goblin's alone, I wouldn't expect to see him anytime soon.
I see. And I am going to try to hit that person with a storm arrow. I'm going to try and run.
Okay. Storm arrow is an auto hit, I believe. So what is the damage on your storm arrow?
The storm arrow is 1d6.
Okay, give me that damage.
3.
3 points, okay. And as this individual is holding this knife to your throat from behind you, what does it look like as you call your storm arrow over here?
It's like there's a bird flying in the sky, and all of a sudden the bird gets real pointy and sharp and just like stabs him through the neck.
All right. And this arcane bird just comes flying down and just pierces right into this guy's neck. He does kind of stumble back, and you do have that brief moment of where you can try to run. So you've got 2 in front of you, or you can try to turn and shove by the guy that was holding you from behind. Which direction are you
That's
going?
what I'm going to try and do.
Okay.
I'm going to try and just get away.
Okay. Give me a quick check if you would be so kind.
Oh. Okay. That's a 3 out of 9.
3 out of 9. Okay. As he stumbles back, you're able to kind of shove by him and just start booking it back down this alleyway. Now, however, Keen, go ahead and roll me your defense if you would be so kind.
Okay, and how do I roll defense again?
So you should have, or your armor. I apologize, your armor. So it should be like a D4 or whatever that is.
Yeah, I have a D4. So I have a witch cloak. Right? That is a 4.
A 4? Okay. Excellent. No worries. As you are pushing past and running down this alleyway, you feel an arrow try to pierce through your cloak and into your back. Luckily, though, your cloak is strong enough to where the weave is able to push off any type of piercing damage that would have come through. You take no damage off of it. You're able to continue running through. As you're running, I will say you don't hear any type of footsteps behind you. So it seems like they're not in a quick pursuit of you.
I'm going to, as soon as I get the chance to like hop into somewhere private, I'm going to change into an Ambrian man. And then I'm going to start going back towards where I was following. Trying to act kind of non-suspicious, but I am going to follow.
Okay, perfect.
Where I think they're going.
Perfect. All right. Laerke, you still have eyes on Nrobso as you're kind of following him through. You do notice that Keen is not behind you at all, though.
About how fast are they moving across the roof?
The creature in front of Nrobso is moving very, very quickly. It's almost like he's just dashing across this place like it's nothing. Nrobso is doing a pretty decent job at keeping pace, but Nrobso's still probably a good 20-30 feet behind this creature.
Okay. I'm curious, because I'm an ex-soldier, ex-royal soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Did I notice... So what I'm looking for is pattern of movement. Has this thing been moving in a straight line? Is it wildly changing direction at every chance it gets? Can I stand here and confidently say when Keen catches up to me that they went this way? Or is it just moving erratically across the roofs?
Give me a cunning check.
Oh, I'm not good at it. No. I'm not going to embarrass myself by saying it out loud.
Okay, no worries. I will say you can't get a defined direction. Mm-hmm. However, it's not an erratic movement. It seems like they were running straight, like they were running back towards the forest in that direction, and then he cut over to the east side of town. And so from there, it looks like he is moving in straight lines. You just can't tell which direction he's going to go next, though.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, then I will stop and wait, because I am more confident in Nrobso's ability to take care of himself than I am in Keen.
Okay. Excellent. Nrobso, you are still in pursuit of this creature. Give me another quick check if you would be so kind.
8 for 18.
8 for 18. Excellent. You are just keeping up in pace and not losing sight of this individual. You see him jump onto another building, this time kind of landing on the side of it as he begins climbing up to like a 4th story. And he gets up to that rooftop. Do you follow him up?
While he's climbing and I'm running, I
Hmm?
want to throw a dagger at his hand.
Okay. Give me an accurate roll. You'd be so kind.
Where is my... Oh boy. Here we go. Oh, yeah. 12, 4, 14.
12 for 14. Okay. What is the damage on your dagger?
Where's my dagger? Just nice 4.
4? Okay. So Nrobso, as you're leaping with this dagger out, what is the visual here? What does it look like? What's Nrobso looking like here?
So the dagger's thrown, right? I'm just running out. Axe in back in the hill, dagger out, thrown, and as it's going, I'm also jumping at the same time. So when it hits the hand, now he has this goblin grabbing onto his back.
Okay. So as you leap and you grab onto his back, his hand now stuck with the dagger in the side. Nrobso, I need a resolute check from you, please.
Oh boy. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Stop resisting arrest, sir.
Resolute.
And you will have a -3 penalty to this roll. Or I'm sorry, a plus 3 penalty. So what'd you get?
A +3 as in add the number to what I rolled?
Correct, yes.
Or, oh boy. Plus, as a 12. 12 for 8.
12 for 8. Okay.
Yep.
As you grab onto this individual, he kind of slowly turns his head to the side, and you can see just that grin form once again. And your skin begins to burn immensely as you can see that his shadowy flesh is almost trying to begin to meld into yours. And almost like it's trying to pierce into your body.
Can I quickly let go and use my axe instead?
You are currently hanging on the side of a building. If you let go, you are gonna fall. Unless you're trying to take your axe and...
I'm jamming into him, yeah.
You're jamming your axe into him.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like a one of these.
Gotcha. Okay. So Nrobso, as of right now, you are going to go ahead and take 1 point of permanent corruption. Grabbing onto this guy.
All right, I will take.
And you're holding on, pulling your axes out instead, and trying to drive those into him. And as you're kind of going to drive your axe, and you can see the hand that's got the dagger through it. As he's kind of smiling towards you, you see him kind of just begin to slowly try to pull his arm. And you see the dagger just completely shred through his hand. And he just looks at it and smiles towards you and just continues to climb with you hanging on his back.
Can I take the axe? And I'm going to give me an arm. I wanna I'm going to chop an arm off and say, stop resisting.
You're going to attempt to chop an arm off. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, give me another accurate roll here if you would. Laerke, give me a vigilance check if you would be so kind. Same for you, Keen.
That's a 10 for 14.
3 out of a 10.
Okay.
16 out of 7.
16 out of 7. Oof, okay. So Keen, as you're kind of coming back out into the streets now, disguised as this Ambrian individual, you're looking around and you're just seeing crowds of Ambrians just continuing to go about their day. There's no sign of the Black Cloaks, no sign of Nrobso, and no sign of Laerke from where you're currently standing.
Okay. Do I see anyone potentially affiliated with the brothers at all?
No. Unfortunately, you do not.
Okay. Do I see any armed guards of any kind? Any of the guardsmen for the town?
There are a few of the Night's Watch out patrolling the streets. These individuals specifically, they look like just the random NPCs in the background that you would see every day. Nobody that you recognize, but you do see some of the Night's Guard walking the town.
I'm going to attempt to get the attention of them and be like, I saw an abomination that's escaped. We have to go find it. It took to the rooftops.
Give me a persuasive roll if you'd be so kind.
Good at those. Ooh. That is an 8 out of 11.
Okay. And they kind of pause for a moment and just come over to you. You're sure you saw another one?
Yes, I did. And it was able to regenerate when something hit it. We have to go get it.
Where'd you last see it?
And I'm going to do my best to indicate which rooftop I think, maybe.
Okay, for sure.
I'll go with you. Let's go. Quickly, all of us.
Okay, and they start following behind you as you're leading them to the best direction you think you saw them. Laerke, as you're on the ground here, you look up and you can see now on the side of one of the buildings, probably about 2 blocks in front of you, this shadowy creature crawling up with Nrobso on its back, Nrobso raising up his axe and slamming it down into this creature's arm.
Stop resisting.
Actions for you, Laerke.
I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna use bird mom voice to screech really loud for him to get his attention, and kind of like universal motion for come back, drop it.
Okay, Nrobso, give me a vigilance check here if you would.
5 for 12.
Okay, you do indeed hear Bird Mom screeching at you.
And as soon as he sees me, as soon as I see that he sees me, I'm gonna turn around and head back in the direction that I came from.
Okay. Nrobso, give me the damage on your axe because you did hit with that.
That was 8.
8, okay, excellent. So taking your axe up and slamming it into this creature's arm, you feel the axe sink in, but instead of where you're normally used to feeling like carving through flesh and bone, it's almost like you're pushing your axe through like a super thick, almost like gelatin-like substance as you shove it down. And you can see that it does give way, but as you pull your axe back through, his flesh begins to kind of reform.
And with the bird screech of whatever motion it was, the idea goes, all right, you're going with me. And I want to like a front flip over between this creature and the building with my axes pressed against its shoulders, my feet on the building. I'm pushing off and taking us both back to the ground.
Okay.
The axe is like by its neck.
Before you do that,
oh no.
As you kind of pull your axe out and you begin kind of crawling in front of him, you see him take his right arm off the building, and you can see his fingertips almost elongate into these just super pointed tips.
Mm-hmm.
As he takes them, and he is going to try to shove them up into your rib cage. So Nrobso, go ahead and give me your armor.
Is he doing a free attack technically?
Technically, this is a free attack. Yep.
Okay, then I want to use my reaction.
Sure.
To roll against to avoid this free attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
There will be another +3 penalty to this.
Oh, sir, I'm quick, sir. And it
Mhm.
says use my quick, and I got a 1. So you have your +3.
Okay. As he goes to shove through, you are able to kind of pull yourself out of the way. And you are now kind of between him crawling around and the building. You're going to try to push him off?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a strong check if you would, Nrobso.
It is a 5. Oh wait. I got +1. Do I have +1? Why do I have plus? Was a 5 for 17? Oh, that was a temporary +1. Yeah, 5 for 17.
Damn, okay. You take your legs and you push on this creature, and the both of you, he lets go of the building, and the both of you are now falling. Granted, you're falling from about a 3-story height at this point, Nrobso.
Okay. Wait. I want to use survival. Grants me 1 extra movement per scene, and I want to try to like jump off the creature into the side of the building and like axe slide as it from like the second floor down.
Okay. For this one, give me another quick check. This time you're gonna have a +3 penalty as well for this.
Oh boy! Oh no! A quick 15 for 15.
Oh, just barely as you kind of push him off, turn, scraping down the side of this building with your axes. The creature, you see it land on the ground. And as you're sliding down towards it, it just smiles once again up towards you, Nrobso. And you see 3 of the black cloaks kind of walk up to where he's currently laying prone on the ground. And they kind of just form a little bit of a triangular barrier around him. As you're sliding down towards these individuals.
Unfortunately for you, something else requires my attention. And I go to find I got my ISO on them, but I'm backing up to go find Laerke.
Okay. You begin backing away. The shadow creature itself kind of stands up and just smiles towards you, Nrobso, but none of them are pursuing. They are letting you back away. Make your way back out to where you had last seen Laerke. Make your way back out to the street. Give me another vigilance check. Keen, give me a vigilance check. And Laerke as well, please. All 3 of you.
10 for 12.
Okay.
7 out of 7.
7 for 7, okay. Nrobso, as you make your way back to the streets, you do see the direction that Laerke had run off. She's a little bit ways ahead of you, but you do see the back of her as you begin making your way in that direction. Keen, you are leading these 2 Knights Guard towards the last rooftop that you saw. And as you're making your way in that direction, you also see Laerke kind of approaching and coming around the corner where you're currently at. However, you're being Ambrian man. Laerke does not see you.
I got a 14 out of 10, so I might even crash into him, to be honest.
But you make your way over to the building with the Knights Guard, and they're like, "You're sure it was this one?"
It was, but they probably have already kept jumping. And I see Laerke. Wait, I think I see someone who will know, and I'm running even faster now, as fast as I can on my very little unmuscular legs.
Okay, and Laerke, you see this random thin Ambrian man just kind of running in your direction.
Oh, you need to come up with like a secret hand sign. I think if Lark would exactly how I'm feeling right now. I have no idea what's happening. Uncomfortable with people. Gonna be like, zoop, just like Christine would in real life. If a strange man were approaching me.
Laerke! Oh,
Okay.
God.
They know my name. Never mind. That might be someone I know. Turn around.
And it's
Oh my
about at
God.
this point, too, that you see Nrobso making his way in your direction as well.
Oh yeah. I'll just say, we lost them. Like, still not quite sure who this random dude is. But
1 second. Okay. All right. Hi, Laerke. It's me, the brother of your friend Keen. We're coming after the abomination that I saw all of you run towards, and do you know where your goblin friend is?
we lost it.
You lost it. Where
That
is Nrobso here yet?
It went that way, but we lost it.
Oh yeah, Nrobso's also there with you.
Hey.
Do I see Nrobso?
Yeah, you would.
So Nrobso now sees like an Ambrian man just like running towards him with arms outspread for a hug.
Palm strike. Just palm strike. Right in the gut.
Oh!
Laerke, do you know this strange person?
Yeah, it's Keen.
Oh.
His brother. And I kind of look over my shoulder like the guys are still there.
Yeah, the guards are still standing there, like, very confused.
They don't know Keen's name. Like, why do I care if they hear me call this dude by name?
Yeah, the guards over there. Ow, that really hurt. The guards over there, I'm trying to show them the abomination that you guys know where it ran to. My stomach really hurts. I'm just glad you're all right, Nrobso. I feel really responsible for this.
Laerke, I don't know this person.
Okay. I'm just going to motion in that direction and tell them that, let the guards know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well,
we went in
yes,
that direction.
Abomination over there. We fell off a building. It almost went curse black, and then it got back up and smiled. These guys in these black cloaks, they're there too. I would be very cautious.
Guys in black cloaks. As in the black cloaks, the Twilight Friars, or? You're certain?
All I know is they're wearing black cloaks. Nrobso knows the difference between all the colors of the rainbow, and black was certainly in the outfit of the description.
Well, if they are indeed the Twilight Friars, then they're probably the best ones to be dealing with the abomination, as they work directly for the Sun Temple, serving the Lord Prios and fighting corruption.
If you ask Nrobso, it was more so like they were assisting this creature. For none of them drew their weapons when we crashed into the ground. They were more concerned about their eyes being on me. The hero of Karabadox.
Give me a persuasion roll if you would, Nrobso.
Oh boy, with a disadvantage.
Is there any way I can help him by saying something?
What would you like to say?
Okay, sorry. I might be internally bleeding, but the Black Cloaks, they're led by Balmello, correct?
I believe a chapter of them are.
Yes. So not only if you go to the church will you find records showing that Balmello has been dead for a very long time, but his skin is literally outside at the front of Thistlehold in that direction because the creature ripped it off of its body. So he's not lying.
You seen the skin yourself?
Yes.
Can you take us to it?
Yes.
Lead the way.
Does Nrobso get to finish his persuasion roll?
Oh boy, that was an 18 for 5. That's rather not. But I do want to like check my surroundings and make sure there's nothing else like.
Yeah, give me another
eyes,
vigilance check if you'd be so kind.
No, 16 for 12.
All right, so you don't see much outside of the just regular Ambrians passing by through this area. But they're kind of looking at Keen's brother here, waiting to be led to this supposed pile of skin.
Derek, why are we following this Ambrian man?
I'm gonna look down at him and say, "It's Keen."
Oh, yeah. Right, got it.
And then I'm gonna add, as soon as he says, "Okay," I'm gonna say, "Brother."
He doesn't have a brother. This Leggings has never once mentioned. This is
and then I'm gonna look at him again and I'm gonna say, "It's Keen." And I'm gonna look and see if the guards are paying attention to us at all.
They're really not. They're kind of like hanging back a little bit and kind of whispering amongst each other, like, "Do you really think there's another one?" Isle of Flesh. I mean, there was that murderer that was fleeing his victims, but I thought that was dope. Kind of continue.
Yeah, then I'm just gonna say, "It's Keen." Keep walking.
Well, if Laerke trusts this person, then Nrobso trusts this person as well. Oh, Laerke, you should have seen me. I was super cool. Don't tell Leggies, but I might have gotten a little darkness in me.
Is there a physical manifestation of corruption?
It burns.
Oh, thanks.
At this point, Laerke, give me a vigilance check as you're looking at Nrobso.
I've had it once. It went away. Then I was cured. Now it's back. It's almost like...
I got a nat 20.
Perfect.
Oh boy.
Looking at Nrobso, you don't see anything immediate. However, with your past, you would know that it would take quite a bit of corruption before it starts to physically manifest on individuals. So looking at Nrobso, you don't see anything, so you can assume it's probably not too bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, you look fine.
I really want to get rid of these gloves. Leggy said they would protect me, and they did not, so what's the point of gloves?
I mean, are they cursed?
No.
Then just take them off.
No.
It feels better, I think, when you have your blade in your actual hands.
But once I find that abomination, I will feel the pleasure of jamming my axe through its heart.
Did you get any good hits on it this time?
I did some really cool hits, but they just got up and smiled at me. Made me feel really inadequate.
Yeah.
We fell from the 4th floor. That's how cool it was.
That does sound really cool. I mean, this abomination seems like it's like much more, it's way stronger than the stuff that we were facing before, right?
He had a smile on his face the entire time.
God, I hate those guys.
They're the worst.
Like, what do you have to smile about? Look at this place.
And one of the guards just kind of like looks at you and kind of looks down a little bit. Not that bad.
Hey, listen, buddy, okay? This place is overrun with monsters, okay?
And
you can do better, my dude.
I mean,
corruption. And not just corruption like the kind that burns, but like, there's a lot of things going on. You're just standing by, letting it happen.
There's like a big hole in the middle of your town, bro. Like, don't come at me right now.
There's a big hole in a lot of your religious beliefs as well, sir.
Kind of look at each other like, yeah, maybe building this on the edge of the forest probably wasn't the best idea.
I feel like what my friends were trying to say is that, I mean, my sister's friends are trying to say is that You need to put your gloves back on, Nrobso.
Well, why would we
I just
say
keep
that?
walking.
That's what you're missing this entire conversation. Oh boy. He begrudgingly jams him back on.
And I'll say it's at this point you have made your way back to where you had originally seen the flesh fall. And as you get over in that direction, you kind of turn the corner down that alleyway. And you can see that the pile of flesh is now gone. However, you do see one of the black cloaks standing there.
Oh god.
Is there a flesh mark on the ground?
There definitely looks like there's like something staining the soil and the dirt down there. And as you're around, you can kind of see the black cloak almost kind of kneeling down in front of it and like scooping a bit up in his fingers and like trying to inspect it.
Well, it was right there, but it looks like we've been beaten here by black cloaks. How wonderful.
And he kind of looks up and just, oh, good afternoon.
Hello.
Guardsman? Not guardsman?
Was wondering if you could show us where Balmello happens to be this fine day. There was a pile of flesh right where you were standing. I don't know if you got rid of it or not, but perhaps you can show us where Balmello is?
Well, there was a pile of flesh here that we've cleaned up. Just investigating and making sure there are no remaining abominations. That'll put the town at ease. As for Balmello, he is away currently.
Funny. Was it not Balmello's flesh that you saw?
There was a pile here, but it was torn up beyond recognition, unfortunately.
I see something must have come and rended it since I saw it last.
You saw it as well.
Indeed.
Well, there's no need to concern yourself with such a, well, rather gross thing at this point, being taken care of.
Leggies, do you want some lilies?
Mind you, the Knights Guard are right there with you, too.
Nrobso.
Yeah.
Perhaps
Leggies brother.
I'd like to look at
Leggies
flowers
brother,
later.
Yes. No.
I think I'd like to look at flowers later.
One of the guardsmen kind of peeks up. Oh, your name's Leggies, by the way. Nice to meet you. Good to finally get a name.
Hello, I am Leggies. Yes, and what is your name, sir?
Joseph.
Joseph. Yes, you're doing a fine job in town, Joseph. Big fan of all of your work. And it looks like we'll have to table the discussion of the flesh for now, because the Black Cloaks seem to have a lot of answers that maybe they should share with Mayor Night Pitch, maybe the Knight's Guard, who knows.
Oh. If the church allows it, of course. I mean, they are their own legal entity. They have been tasked by Lord Prios himself.
Indeed.
He kind of looks towards the Black Cloak. Always appreciate the hard work. Sorry for the intrusion. And the two guard kind of begin to step away.
Lilies now.
I don't want to put you in a position where flowers might give you allergies. I already feel bad about the last time.
Oh, I know.
So,
last time was well done. I was very successful. You should have seen me.
Why were your gloves off when I saw you?
What happened on the walk, Leggies?
I see. Nrobso, would you like to ask this nice man what his name is?
And this guy's kneeling down still?
No, at this point he's just kind of standing up.
Oh.
And just looking at all of you.
Nrobso, walk forward. Look him right in the eyes. What is your name?
It's not a name you need to be concerned with. If you'll excuse me, I'm very busy today. He starts to kind of push back past you.
Well, you suck. I'm very busy. It's a dumb name.
And he kind of stops next to Keen and just smiles and says, "We'll see you soon, leggies." And continues pushing
I doubt
past.
you will. Ta-ta.
And he walks past you and Laerke out onto the street and just continues.
So it seems that this town has a serious church corruption problem. Not that we weren't aware of that. But isn't it great that they seem to be above the law?
Which is why Nrobso and Krenko are forming the Underground Brotherhood to potentially assassinate and go after the leaders of this corrupted religious group.
Nrobso, I want to apologize. I feel like I put you in great danger today. It was not my intention, and I do feel very bad that I was too slow to follow.
Like, as the tank of this group, I just want to let you know no harm was come to me, and I did a lot of damage. I did so much damage that it wasn't even counted. That's how much damage I did. It was a large amount that no possible person could ever calculate the amount of damage that was done. But unfortunately, this creature was none like I've ever faced before. And in the group of 4 versus Nrobso, they were very lucky I didn't have to unleash my fury.
I'd say so. Quite lucky.
So no
Yes.
apologies needed. This was not the day Nrobso died.
I do think we have a bit of an issue, though. We might need to take some pretty quick inventory of any important people in the city. What I do know is that Odaka now doesn't have a form.
Yeah.
And I believe he needs to kill someone to get his next one.
Yeah, because they have to, like, take his skin, right?
Oh, is that who I fought?
Yeah.
Yes.
That would explain my axe, my dagger, this darkness that I feel now. Potentially
Darkness.
might need to talk with the Iron Pact people to potentially get this little dark feeling uplifted somehow. Maybe another iron ring. Do they just have the rings for everyone?
And Nrobso, have you been corrupted?
Laerke says it's okay.
No. Wait, Laird,
No.
did you say that was okay?
No, Laerke says it's just a little. It's just I'm fine.
It's just like one.
It's just a little.
It's like one. Like that's everybody's got one. Keith.
Who isn't corrupted nowadays? I mean, statistically speaking, 9 out of 40 people potentially are corrupted.
Yeah.
Where did you get that study from? What statistics? What was the general populace that was studied for that?
Franco told me.
And let's get Krenko here so Krenko can tell me exactly where this study that has now made you think we can just get corruption and not be concerned came from.
He's building up the manor. Remember the
He's
manor
got
that we
stuff
have?
going on.
He's building up the manor for us.
Right.
I thought we were waiting for the manor until the city has been rebuilt.
That's why I say he's building it up.
Yeah, he's building it right now in the midst of building while the city's being rebuilt. Because
There's lots of free real estate just hanging out. I mean, a lot of people, they didn't make it. Let's be honest. We know that some people just didn't make it, which means potentially there's a manor that's available that Krenko is building up and finding.
Yeah.
That's well and good for dear Krenko. But we will have to take care of this corruption problem very soon.
Just a little.
It'll get cleared up as we go along. It'll be fine.
I could probably handle 3 more times.
No, well, one is fine. But
I did wear said gloves, and this guy was just really strong. The corruption immediately went through these gloves.
How many pendulums are you seeing?
How am I supposed to stare at it? It's moving around very quickly.
Do you feel well? Do you feel sick?
No. No, look at me. Look at me.
I'm looking at you.
This is peak Nrobso right now.
Peak. I feel stronger than ever. I thought.
Well, we are taking care of this soon, but right now we have to make sure that no one like Mayor Nightpitch or Cargoy or any old war heroes or any brother from the Brotherhood, nobody goes missing all of a sudden and then suddenly is found and stares at us in a really weird way from across a room.
Well,
that's going to take some surveillance.
What's on the east side of town where they were heading? What direction is the mayor at?
The mayor, his house is on the west side of town.
Okay, so they were headed towards the east, right? So
you did see them run off in that direction. You would know that the biggest landmark in that direction that you had been to would have been the Sun Temple.
Oh. Well, I mean, that makes sense because aren't the Black Friars technically part of the Sun Temple? They're just like the shady side of the Sun Temple, and then you've got like the Templars are the like sunny side.
Correct, yeah. They're basically the night and day versions, yeah.
So he's probably just gonna go take another temple person. It seems like all the those people were listening to him, right? So
Does he take them from the graveyard? Was Balmello laid to rest before he took the skin?
What a place to start. We've only confirmed through paperwork that Balmello is no longer here. We've never actually seen said body besides the skin that was supposedly here. That was here. It was here. I saw it.
Yes.
And that was a lot of there's been a lot of recently deceased as well. Like just recently, like yesterday, deceased as well.
Which is why there's a manor that's available somewhere that Kranko is fighting.
The dead brother, the friend of Agithe's. There's all kinds of like prime.
Wait, no.
Hold on. Sounds in the background.
Because those names you just confirmed.
Yeah.
Everyone's aware of said people. Anyone that was deceased as of yesterday should be known to be of deceased. So should they come back, that would be our top person of interest.
Yes, exactly.
So we shouldn't be concerned with said people. It's an unknown that will be the next Balmello.
Well, not necessarily. Like, for example, if Aggie had not told the brothers who were not located here that, you know, he was dead, then potentially that body could have been stolen, and then they could have snuck it out of Thistlehold and made its way to the brothers without anybody telling them that he had been dead the whole time, correct? So if we're going to go that route, then we need to confirm where the bodies are as well, in my opinion.
And should we see said
burned,
bodies?
Aren't the bodies being burned?
Oh.
Are they? I don't know what the process is. I don't think I think I was focusing more on finding living people than I was on what was going on with the dead ones.
I could be wrong, but if there's a chance of corruption, I believe the bodies would be burned.
You would know a lot of the masses were burnt. However, it was mentioned that Henlone and Ogrim would be given proper burials.
It's going to be Ogrim. Ogrim was a very large man, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect size, based on what Radaka likes.
Well, why don't we confirm then? Do we know where the bodies were taken of Henlone and Ogram?
You would know Henlone would be buried at the Sun Temple.
Okay.
Ogram, you've got no clue where Laney would be his body to. The only one who would potentially know would be Aggie.
Okay, well, let's investigate the Sun Temple then first, since we know where that is.
The Sun Temple is probably our best bet, given that the Black Cloaks are also there.
But let's also be careful, because there are a lot of witch hunters out today, Keen.
Well, and I would agree that it would be a good place to go, but we do have to remember that they have absolutely no inhibitions about capturing us in a space where they feel like they will not be observed.
No, we don't have to go inside just right away, but let's at least go scope it out and see, what's going on.
Very well.
Okay. Heading over to the Sun Temple. We will go ahead and pick up there after a quick break. So thank you all so much for sticking around. We'll be back here in about 10 minutes or so. Stretch, hydrate, do what you got to do. We'll see you back here real soon. So much. And welcome back, everybody. So, where I will place our group is you are back on the outskirts of the Sun Temple, met by that very same pristine double building with the kind of the small square one situated in the front and the large one in the back with the massive glass dome on top of it. Over on the right-hand side of this building, you would know that that is where the kind of the graveyard area is, or you have the large, massive open airway archway leading inside the building, where you do see just a few various priests and Templars kind of walking amongst themselves in and out of the building. It doesn't appear to be too crowded at this point in the day. With your time that you'd spent here previously, you would know that they generally do a morning service and an evening service. So you are currently, like I say, just on the outskirts. The actions are yours. What would you all like to do?
Does it look like there's an influx of Dark Friars around?
Looking around on the outside, you don't really see a lot of the Black Cloaks currently in this area. It's mainly just the priests who are donning the stark white robes with the image of the sinking sun kind of emblazoned on the chest. At this time, yeah, I would say you don't see a single Black Cloak in the area.
Is there a weaponsmith? A forge? Anyone that makes weapons around?
There are some blacksmith shops in town. There is a smithy at the Sun Temple, but he is mainly, his duty is to basically just repair the weaponry and armor of Templars and the friars.
Nrobso seeks an audience with the blacksmith of the Sun Temple. Perhaps Leohan can assist Nrobso even in his time of grief.
They're not here yet, are they?
No, Henlon was the only one that came back when Aggie had called for help, and he is dead. Leohan and Venhall had both made their way to Temple Wall with the tablet, and you have learned that they have both been called out into Davokar Forest. They did mention that they would try to come by to say their farewells to their brother before heading out to the Davokar. However, you know it's going to take them probably a day or two to make their way back.
What of the lady of the house?
Lady Deceba?
Deceba?
Yep.
You can certainly try to speak to her if you wish.
Legis, do you think Lady Deceba is a good point of contact, given that we have few allies here at the church? She's at the church, right? And we're at the right place. We're at the same spot.
Yeah, she is the head of the Sun Temple. Yep.
All right.
I believe that discretion would be the wisest way to speak to her, considering we don't want to make her any enemies within the church.
Well, then leave it to me, for discretion is an attribute that I possess. I will not describe if it's a strong one or not. No,
Very well.
And I just start making my way to her place. I don't talk to no one. I'm just trying to go out as unnoticed as a goblin as possible, just walking in straight there.
Okay, you walk in and begin making your way through the temple itself. Laerke and Keen, do either of you follow?
Is where she's at is inside of the temple?
Correct. You have to go through the main building into the second one, following the stairs upwards, and her office is basically underneath the large glass dome in the building behind. So you would have to go through the entirety of the church to basically get to where she's at.
Is there a lot of different people, or is it mostly just Ambrians and mostly just temple people?
In this area, some Ambrians do come and go. That's usually around service time. At this point in time, you are just seeing mainly the just the priests and who are currently in this area. You don't really see Ambrians. You don't even really see a lot of Templars currently.
Okay, I'll go with Nrobso.
Okay.
I will come as well, but I have a bad feeling about everything, and I'm just kind of walking around as, like, trying to make myself as small as possible.
Okay. As you are walking through, Keen, are you yourself or are you still the Ambrian man?
I am going to be the Ambrian man.
Still? Okay. Okay, no problem. As you're making your way through the Sun Temple itself, I need a round of vigilance checks from everybody, please.
Ooh, that is a 1 out of 7.
Okay.
5
10
for
out of
12.
5 for 12, okay.
10 out of 10.
Perfect, perfect. So as you are all making your way through, you do see a familiar face in here of an Ambrian man with kind of some dark hair that's pulled into a tight braid that's just kind of hanging down to one side. This individual a bit older. And you had encountered this person before within the temple itself, he not being the most friendly guy, but following the orders of Decibel. And you hear the voice of Father Elfeno as he just shouts out, "Ah! The goblin again. You're back."
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I have to report back to Lady Decibel some terrible news about her horse she gave to me.
You lost the war horse.
No, and this news is not for you.
You
It is
killed
my
the
honor-
war horse.
It is my honor, my duty to report this back to Lady Decibel.
She's very preoccupied at the moment, as you can imagine, with all the ongoings. I think that her
have you
missing
had a
horse.
one-on-one conversation with her before, as I was honored to have?
I've had plenty of one-on-one conversation, Lady Decima.
Well, you're not a goblin, so it must be very important as a hero of Krabadox to come and have a conversation with Lady Decibel.
Give me a persuasion
ponder
roll,
on that.
Nrobso.
Oh no. Yeah. 3 for 5.
3 for 5. And he kind of looks at you and he kind of rolls his eyes and, well, I suppose I can't stop you from heading up after all. It seems she's taken a liking to you for one reason or another. I still can't believe she let you deal with the heretic, but she knows best. Very well. You know how to get to her office. I won't stop you.
Yeah.
And he just kind of glares at you as you go walking by.
I confidently walk by.
And you make your way up, and you see the familiar large double wooden doors that are currently shut at this time.
It's just a secret password. Laerke, don't mind me.
And it's very obnoxiously.
They have to do thing.
There was no such thing as a password like that.
And from beyond the door, you hear footsteps shuffling in your direction as the door pulls open. And you're indeed met by the familiar face of Lady Decibel, standing there, somehow looking even older than she did a few weeks back. She looks very, very much exhausted at this time as the doorway opens, and oh, you lot again. Hello. Please come in. Come. And she kind of shuts the door behind you. Well, been rather busy past 24 hours, hasn't it?
You have no idea. Or you do have an idea, rather.
Say that I do. Thank you, by the way, for handling the Sarvola situation. I've heard he's back helping.
Yes,
You're welcome.
Do you remember when we discussed the Balmello situation?
Oh, bum. Vaguely.
And you helped us determine that Balmello had been dead for quite some time?
Yes, that's right. The records do show he passed.
And you were aware that he was working as a Black Cloak, as a changeling?
As a changeling Black Cloak.
Yes. You were not aware that there was a man in the Black Cloaks calling himself Balmello?
Everybody knew it. Like, a lot of people knew of this.
Nobody that's associated with the temple.
Well, the main leader of at least one part of the Black Cloaks has been calling himself the Balmello from the stories, and in fact looked like him. He's actually a changeling. His real name is Odaka, and he ripped off Balmello's skin today from his body, ran through the streets, and the Black Cloaks are trying to protect him. They also tried to capture us. I think he specifically has some dealings with me in particular, and this is very, very bad, and we're not sure entirely how bad it is.
I see. And you're entirely certain of this?
100%.
She kind of stands up. Come with me. And she begins shuffling her way past you, opening up the double doors and making her way back down the staircase. Do you all follow?
Yes.
Okay. You continue to make your way down, and she takes you once more to the staircase that you had gone down the first time you had come here, leading down below the Sun Temple itself. As she gets to the bottom of the stairs, she pulls a lantern off the wall and ignites it. And you're once again met with that long hallway with kind of the prison cells lining either side. She continues walking through this area. As you're continuing on, you do hear the same kind of mumbling and madness coming from one of the cells. And you can see that the corrupted individual known as Ori is still down here, the one that Kian had spoken to before when you had first come here. He's still alive, and you see him just kind of back in one of the corners of his cell, just kind of tapping on it with his giant fist, and then switching to hitting his head against the wall and just continuing to walk around mumbling under his breath. And Decibel doesn't pay him any attention and continues walking down this hallway. At the end, there's another large wooden door that she pushes open. She says, this is where we put to rest some of the more noted members of the temple. This is where Balmello, well, his body would have been laid down here. And she continues walking on, and you can see that there are probably about 20 or so almost look like stone like doors that are kind of built into this wall that you could pull open and basically like slide a body in it. And she's just kind of walking through and kind of looking at the names. And she eventually comes to the one that is indeed labeled Bamelo. Oh, you should be right here. She kind of offers the lantern over to one of you just to kind of take from her hand. And she pulls the door open. As the light kind of illuminates within, it is completely empty.
Cool.
And you see her eyes kind of widen as she kind of just stumbles back for a moment. Well... shit. And you see her kind of go over, and she pulls open the next door, and there's indeed a body in that one. She shuts it. Goes to the next one, pulls it open. There's a body in there. She shuts it. And she kind of pauses for a moment. And she walks down, and the next door that she goes to is labeled Henlone. And she pulls it open, and his body is not in there.
We have to know what we need to do to get this information out as quickly as possible.
And who had access to this room besides yourself?
Several of the Twilight Friars are allowed to come down here. I mean, they were the ones who were sent out to clean up any remaining corruptive forces, and they were the ones charged with bringing the dead back. I shall put together a list of the names of the friars who are supposed to be here still. I will let you all know as soon as I have that compiled. In the meantime, I will speak to Mayor Nightpitch and let him know that the Twilight Friars well, unfortunately, he can't force them to stay, but to at least inform me if any of them leave.
There's also an issue where I believe that Henlone might have some kind of access to the Queen.
It is possible. He was one of the more renowned Templars. It wouldn't surprise me if she knew. Well, not only of him, of the McKell brothers, and they are some of the best fighters in our ranks, even the young ones. If indeed this changeling Odaka taking on new identities, it is possible he's trying to get to her. But I can't be certain. Is there anything else you have heard?
They heard, but perhaps there's something that Nrobso needs. I am in need of perhaps maybe a stronger weapon. See, I fought this Odaka, and whereas my weapons pierced his body, it didn't seem to have an effect. So is there any type of thing that your blacksmiths do that are different than normal blacksmith that could perhaps give my weapon a sharper cut?
I got all these and like I open the inside bag of my jacket.
Onyx? Is that the stone that we broke in that last battle in the ground.
Yes, it was an Onyx 4. Correct.
Onyx. I would like this onyx somehow attached to my sword, and perhaps the powers that be would allow this weapon to be stronger.
I'm afraid our smithy is reserved for the Templar warriors, unfortunately. Not just for everybody.
Oh, but you are the lady of the house.
I am indeed.
You have lent me the war horse. Surely, maybe a note from you, vouching for such a person as me, would allow the blacksmith to imbue my weapon with potential power to cut down any corruption that I may battle.
I'm afraid that is just simply out of the question at this time. Perhaps you will find a smithy in town or elsewhere, but I cannot help you here.
Perhaps maybe
If
the elves could help me instead.
you're working with the elves.
No. No, I think he's just trying to figure out how to get a weapon, how to trade for it in the open marketplace.
Any weapon that can destroy the corruption in Odaka. I have a new goal.
Keen, give me a persuasive roll if you would.
That's you.
Oh, wait, was that?
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, that is a 7 out of 11.
Okay. And she just kind of looks at you and kind of brushes it off. Well, I'm afraid I've got other pressing matters as well. It would seem that something has awakened in the forest that the queen is also focusing her attention towards. Now, you all wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
We're not quite sure what that is.
Very well. Well, I will continue to look into the Twilight Friars and this Odaka. But I suggest you all tread carefully.
And if I may request, it would be good for the public to know that Henlone died in battle. If Odaka is trying to use him for influence, it would be best if people knew that he fell.
I will inform the mayor, and he can do as he sees fit.
Thank you.
Now, is there anything else?
Not at this time.
Right. I trust you can see yourselves out.
Indeed.
Right. Heading out from the Sun Temple, unless there's anything else specific you would all like to do. Okay. Where would you all like to go? You do know that the elves do live on the outskirts of town. Well, not quite on the outskirts, over towards the east. They do have their hideout there. You have Mare Night Pitch, Kargoy. Where would you all like to head to?
Let's find Nrobso a blacksmith.
Oh, my goals.
So we're outside, Rob, so maybe it's best to not tell anyone that we work with elves right now.
Nrobso never mentioned that we worked with said elves. Nrobso only said perhaps they could help me imbue my weapon to fight the corruption. It's not Nrobso's job to have people assume things.
That's the problem, though, Nrobso, is we're in Thistlehold. We are in the absolute epicenter of every Ambrian bias, prejudice, and form of racism in existence.
Then perhaps a stand should be taken against these Ambrians who do not realize that when the sinkhole was open, The abominations did not care whether we were green, short, tall, Ambrian, elf, or witch. They slaughtered any that opposed them.
That is absolutely correct. And hopefully Kargoy can help us further that initiative with his influence. But right now, we have a lot of problems that are much more world-crushing that need to be addressed. But I do agree with you. They should definitely change. But unfortunately,
the time will come.
yes, it will. While we're walking, is it okay if I try to call Gadramon again and figure out what happened last time?
Gadramon.
Yeah, you can certainly give Gadramon a call through your message stone if you wish.
He always
Right.
sounds like a Digimon to me.
Alright, pulling out your message stone, and you can feel the arcane energy begin to take effect. And you do hear a voice come through. Keen, is that you?
Oh, good, Gadramon, it's you. Excellent. I tried to call you earlier, but something was wrong. Did something happen?
No, everything's fine here. I was just simply making sure Eox made his way to his home. Are you alright?
Well, when I called you, I was all right, and I don't think I am anymore. A couple of things. We have need of someone who can help an undead who still has a chance of sentience to take on some kind of undead life in this world. It's very pressing, and it has to do with a very serious political hero in town. And on the other hand, we have a bit of... are you familiar with Odaka? Have we talked about that?
I've heard the name, but I'm not overly familiar with the man.
Well, this thing, this imperfect changeling, is a very serious threat. Tried to capture us, is working intimately with the Twilight Friars within the church, so has a very strong hold on the political leanings of the church here. And is posing a very real problem, and we believe has now taken the dead body of Henlone to take his form, so that's great. So lots of things are going on, Gadramon. Lots of things are going on.
I see. Well, unfortunately, it seems things are only getting worse. I don't know if you've heard yet, it seems the Queen is also sending more of her soldiers out into the forests.
Did hear.
Wow. I can have your friend meet you outside the gates of Thistlehold. And I think that she will be able to help you with your undead. She's very good with medicine. As far as Odaka and the Twilight Friars, that's going to be a bit more complicated.
I understand. Is there any way we might be able to assist with the soldiers going into Davokar?
Well, once I have finished my journey with Eox, I plan on heading home to Karvasti and speaking to the elders and all the clans there to see what they wish to do moving forward. I would welcome you to be part of these talks if you wish. I believe one of your companions is very familiar with the place.
I'm sure we would be happy to join, wouldn't we? Are neither of you eavesdropping on my conversation, or are both of you eavesdropping on my conversation?
We're not just walking and you decided to call. Of course we're in on this conversation.
Good, yes. So, we're in? Yes?
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, we're in. We're in Gadramon, yes. Oh, they say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Very well.
Laerke says hi too.
I will have Euphrinda make haste back to the hold with some medicines to try. And if you have any contacts in the hold that you trust, I would suggest having them keep an eye on this Odaka for now, as I really don't know any steps moving forward to help alleviate that without either causing an alarm or just trying to eliminate him yourself immediately.
Absolutely, thank you.
And when you're ready, I will be in Karvasti waiting for you. Euphrinda knows the path, or, as I'm already said, I'm sure you've got somebody who can take.
Very well, thank you very much.
Just stay safe. Hope to see you soon.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Gadramon. Can I ask one more thing?
Of course.
Do you know anyone who might be able to help one of our own get a weapon that may be able to pierce abominations?
I know that some of the clans from the forest are very good crafting weapons, and many of them are familiar with the darkness that lives within the forest. I'm sure we can find somebody.
Thank you very much. All right, well, I hope to hear from you under better circumstances next time.
As do I, my friend.
Goodbye, Gadramon.
Goodbye.
Bye. Did you tell him I said bye?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I think he
No,
understood the
no,
gist. I think
it's
he got
fine.
the energy.
No, it's okay. We were all here. It's figured. I don't have a sending stone, so I never know when it actually hangs up or not. Just
We should really get those for our party.
Cranko would like one too. It'd just be really convenient. He mentioned someone we trust in the hold, and I would say Cranko has earned the trust of 500 men. So it's fine. Just sending stone for all would be pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely, we should. And we should definitely let our friends in the hold know about the situation.
Yo,
Yes,
who
we
else?
should tell the captain.
Oh, yep, Captain Marbello. That is a friend. She is also a friend.
Okay. So I won't play out us having to tell every single person about Odaka. Just give me a list of who you would like to know about this situation.
Mayor Night Pitch.
Okay.
Captain Barvello.
Hello, okay.
The two elves.
Okay.
Franco.
Franco, Lysandra.
Cranko, as well
Okay.
as informing Cranko, we need more people in our brotherhood.
I think it would be safe to let Carboy know, especially just to guard himself, because this is also a threat to his daughter if there's even more negative attention brought.
Yeah.
What about that? I might be mistaking him for another character and maybe mixing characters up. But wasn't there like a doctor guy? Do you remember when we set that place on fire?
Not a doctor. Are you talking about Father Sarvola?
Yes, I think so.
He was the one that was labeled as a heretic. He's the one that's been trying to help out the town.
Yeah. We should
let him know.
Too.
Sarvola as well? Okay.
Because he deals with a lot more of like the public people, I think.
Correct.
So
Yes, he
could
does.
Get the word out pretty well.
And
Okay.
the we setting that place on fire is very light. It's a light we. It's not all of us. I was not there.
I didn't take part in that either. Okay. I'm not here to say who
Nrobso,
fire.
do you remember all the things that we've all done collectively?
No, the Nrobso never set anything on fire. I didn't set anything on fire.
Yes, but with the means that you have, you've done other things for sure.
Other heroic things, yes.
Lots of property damage.
Those buildings, they're coming down anyway.
Nrobso, you cut the tip off of a horse's ear.
And we are better friends because of it.
No, you're not. No,
Blown
you're.
away.
He's finding himself is really what he's doing. It's just a lot has happened with Red Herring.
Oh yeah, you never told her that you lost her horse.
Oh, that was just a ruse. I didn't lose Red Herring. I might have lost Red Herring.
No, it's fun. I'll just make sure to have a list of things we've all done if this is the way it's going to be. A soft weave. If it's going to be a soft weave, I'll keep notes.
I'll quickly look. Let me quickly look. Just in case. 5 for 12 for a vigilance check.
There is zero sign of a massive warhorse in this area. He is gone.
I'll keep looking. I will keep looking.
Didn't you steal a man's stew once?
That man was potentially up to something.
Oh,
and you told me he was up to something.
To be fair, we were very close. We were trying to find very important inside information, and we eventually did.
And perhaps the stew was poison. I needed to test it.
Yes, well, all I'm saying, Nrobso, is we do share a lot of responsibility as a party.
Lots of heroic responsibility. You are correct.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
And after informing your 7 contacts of the situation with Odaka and the Twilight Friars, is there anywhere else specific you would all like to go, or would you like to go meet with Euphrinda?
Euphrinda.
Okay. You make your way back towards the northern gate, and looking across the field, you can see the massive wall of trees that is the Davokar forests. And you see coming from that direction the slender woman wearing this beautiful, like, deep green dress with these burgundy accents to it. And she's got, like, this very ornate headpiece on that looks to be made of, like, natural vines and colorful leaves. As she's walking towards the gate, and you recognize her immediately as one of the first witches who had come in on those massive beasts originally. This is indeed Euphrinda. As she approaches the gate, and she just has this big smile on her face as she sees all of you.
Euphrinda, well met.
Well met indeed. I am so glad to see you all alive and well still.
Same goes to you. Same goes to you.
Yes. Well, business first. Gadramon has said you need some help with a young woman.
Indeed. Let us show you the way, and then we can catch up later.
Very well, and you see her kind of pull on this large wool cloak and kind of put the hood up over her head and begins following you through the streets. You can see that even though Night Pitch has welcomed these two into town, her and Gadramon, she's still very much wary of coming through here. But she does follow you. Are you leading her directly to Kargoy's home?
Yes.
Okay. Making your way through the town, you do see Kargoy's yard with his manor standing there. Front door currently shut. I'd like to approach you, certainly may. Knock on the door. Hear it open up, and you see Kargoy standing there. I hope you bring good news.
Yes, Kargoy, this is our friend Euphrinda, who is here to see your daughter.
You actually came. Please, come in. And you can see, like, he is very much, like, shaking as he's, like, shutting the door, and you can see he's just feeling this massive mix of emotions and almost disbelief as he sees Euphrinda walking in. You can help her. Euphrinda just kind of smiles and I think I can. Please, if you don't mind showing me to her, I can start preparations. Kargoy pulls out the set of keys and unlocks the door to his basement. The two of them head down. Do you all follow? Following your way back downstairs, and you're met with that same large iron gate leading to the cells beyond. You can see Kargoy's wife. Unfortunately, very much just still that there's nothing there. She's kind of a wandering husk within her cell. But you see his daughter almost like kind of curiously look through the bars and approach towards her cell door. Just kind of grasps onto it and just kind of looks around at you all. Euphrinda kind of walks up to her and, well, it's already a very good sign. It seems there's some recognition there still. And you see Euphrinda, she takes her cloak off and just kind of lays it on the floor. And she kind of sits with her legs crossed, just down on the stone floor itself, and she begins reaching into her bag and pulling out all these different components with like this large stone bowl and one of those like wooden mashing sticks that she starts to just kind of pour in different herbs and liquids as she begins stirring together this concoction. And it takes the better part of an hour for her to kind of mix this as she's mixing in different herbs and pressing them down and then pouring it into a flask and then adding new ingredients, mixing those up, taking the flask, pouring that back into the bowl. A lot of these herbs and liquids that you're seeing are very unfamiliar to all of you. Even looking at the supply that Aggie has, whatever Euphrinda is carrying is either extremely rare or something that Aggie hasn't even dealt with before. And as she finishes mixing up this concoction in this bowl, you see her kind of stand up and walk over to the cell. And she looks to Kargoy and asks him to open it so she can go in. And you can see once again Kargoy just shaking entirely as he just kind of puts the key in the gate and unlocks it. Euphrinda enters in and just kind of stands in front of the girl and takes this bowl and just kind of lifts it up to her lips. Slowly tilts it. And once all the liquid has emptied out, she pulls the bowl away. And just kind of looks to all of you and looks to Kargoy. And she kind of takes Kargoy's hand. And he kind of places it into the hand of his daughter. And you just hear Kargoy whisper the name Mirella. And this young undead child kind of looks up to him, and you can see now there's almost a sparkle of light in her eyes as she just says, "Dad?" And with that, we will go ahead and call tonight's episode. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Very much appreciate you all sticking with us for episode 2. We will be back here in 2 weeks with our next episode, but before we go, let's go ahead and go back around, introduce yourselves, plug yourselves, all that fun stuff. Let's go in reverse this time. Let's start off with Christine.
Hey everybody, I'm Christine. You can find me here on TO. You can find me on Instagram at slumber.jane or here on Twitch at /slumberjane, playing video games and doing all kinds of shows and things. Thanks for hanging out.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Let's go to Lee Royal.
Hey everybody, I am Lee Royal on all social media at royaltyknowy. You can catch me primarily right now on Instagram and occasionally here on Twitch.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Kelsey, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey. You can find me on social media at Tombs and Tomes on Instagram, Twitter, all of those places.
Perfect. Thank you so much. As for myself, I am Nate. You can find me on Instagram and Ride93, and I think on Hive2 at the same thing. I don't know if Hive is still around, but it's there if you want to follow me there. Besides that, I am the regular GM for Symbaroum here on the Initiative Order. And I actually just started as a player for a new show on this channel, Root, the TTRPG by Magpie Games, an adventure of Woodland Might. It's super, super fun. I am playing a mouse ranger in a war-torn land, investigating some missing denizens. So you can catch me, that'll be on the Initiative Order every other Saturday. So 2 weeks from yesterday, we'll be back with episode 2. It's being run by the incredible Miguel Classico, and there's a phenomenal cast for it, so check that out. Besides that, I help out with the Initiative Order. We've got a Discord that will be going around. There'll be a link down in the chat, so if you want to come hang out with us, play games with us, potentially jump in a stream with us, we've got an open call currently for an upcoming project, and we've got lots more projects in the works, so if you're interested in being part of those, please jump on our Discord. That's the best way to apply for things, and just hang out and have fun. Besides that, just a massive quick shout out to our wonderful sponsors of the channel. There will be a sponsor reel coming up here shortly that will have all kinds of discount codes for you to use at various shops, small creators, to go get some awesome TTRPG inspired gear from all around the places, so check that out. Thank you so much, everybody. Really, really appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you all in the next adventure. Later.